Uh-huh. Yeah. Say it again.
Well, I get to
So,
introduce. Yeah, now live, I think.
yes, yes, yes. We are live. You mentioned something about the 2023 elections. You said the 2023 elections were the most.
I think these are the most historic elections in Zimbabwean history.
The 2023 elections.
Yeah, I think you'll see they'll go down in history as probably a pivotal moment in Zimbabwean history. What has happened there is really dramatic, So I think it is an exciting time, and I
Mm.
think keeping the people updated and I think Zimbabweans should be excited about this period.
This
Yeah,
is
and
interesting,
actually,
Wilbert, because you're a skeptic. You've been a very, very deep skeptic of the opposition participating in elections. I'm curious to hear why on earth someone like you would talk like this. That's why I had to open my ears and literally totally shut up so that I hear this thing that you're just blowing into our attention right now.
Well, I think it is a surprise for the opposition as well. I think what the opposition expected was similar to what we got in 2018, where the elections were held and they complained that they'd been rigged, and SADC turned around and said they were, substantially free, fair, and credible, and life goes on. And much to their surprise, SADC turned around and said, no, these elections were flawed and illegal.
but gentlemen, I suggest it's 8:15. We shoot on the
Wow.
topic, and then we can discuss this one later, or allocate time
Okay,
to it.
we just this was just an introductory, Doctor. You're so right, Doctor Mavaza. Absolutely. Dr. Mavaza, this was an introductory. It was one of those impromptu. You know, when someone bursts out something or vomits something out there and everything practically links in, I mean, it just blasts out our brains into what we're supposed to discuss. That's why we're literally live right now. But quickly, good evening to you, our viewers. Witnesses, join us live. This is your news network, Zimai. And tonight we've got a brief news review. Our panel today is likely to be wider and far-reaching in terms of its representation or representativeness to our population, Zimbabwe. We've got a few topics on the top there, on the panel. I'm sure people have read these topics. There'll be more that we are set to discuss, but those are kind of according to the triggers, okay, into what we must discuss or the pivots. Tonight, I'm joined here on one side to my other here, an analyst who's practically been there for several years on our programs. This is Wilbert Mukori. He writes nearly 2 or 3 articles a day. Good evening to you, Wilbert.
Good evening, Simba. Good evening, the listeners, and good evening, Mawaza, and welcome everybody.
Thank you, Mkori. Good evening, Mkori. Good evening, Zimbabwe, Simba, and everybody else.
Well, thank you very much. Dr. Mavaza is an analyst also. I'm representing another section of the Zimbabwean community. And he provoked the nation yesterday with an article that he suggested that Emerson Mnangagwa is allowed and should be let off to appoint his kids. He called them qualified kids. Okay, am I right there, Dr. Mavaz?
Qualified children.
Oh, sorry, qualified children. Okay, so I won't use kids then. I'll say qualified children. Okay, thank you very much. Our viewers, witnesses, you might have read this article. If you want to read it, I can put the link here. And there's something that you said, Wilbert, before I press the live button. Would you like to just repeat what you asked me there? Because we were not yet live.
Well, I was asking you actually why you have not been doing these discussion programs throughout the elections, because I think these are really important elections in Zimbabwean history. And I would like it to go down on record as some people may not appreciate it, but I honestly believe these are historic moments we are living through. And I was wondering why Zimai was not able to cover it and, give 2 or 3 programs at least a day to keep people informed. So you were going
Well,
to
thank you very much
explain
for that, Wilbert.
why you were not able to do it. I think that's the listeners would want to know why you were
Oh,
not
thank you
able
very much. I really do apologize that the 2023 election.
I don't know whether it's me, but I can't hear Simba anymore.
Right. Yeah. Thank you very much, Wilbert, for that. I just wanted to. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay. I'm reconnecting, folks. There's something strange going on with this.
Mamaza, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well, but I can't hear Simba at all.
Yeah, I think he's fixing something. Well,
But I was going to say, Corey, the reason why Simba could not probably be available during the elections, I think he had a wishful thinking that his friends, the opposition, might win. But I'm glad to know that Zimbabweans had proved Simba and you, Corey, wrong. The elections were free and fair, and we won hands down.
Dr. Mavaza.
Yes, sir.
Right. I was absent. I was not inside, so I didn't hear what you said there. Right. So, but let me just say, gents, that I Wilbert, and I want to apologize that unlike what I've been doing in previous elections, this election I didn't exhibit the type of visibility or the similar type of nature of visibility that I used to in previous elections. And I'm hoping that Zimbabweans will recall here. In the last 5 years, I've been working on some deep research work. And I've had to change the manner in which I do my work. So I am not so much on social media, and I will spend more time on the ground. So, Dr. Mavaza, I was literally at the border during elections. You probably didn't know.
That's fine. I think you missed a lot because I was right inside, and it was quite exciting
Right.
to see the overexcited Triple C members putting their tails between their legs as the elections were announced, and as ZANU-PF won in a free and fair election, the most fairest election in years. So I just wanted to congratulate the people of Zimbabwe for the wise choice, and our president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, on the wisdom he used in choosing the wise and intelligent cabinet yesterday.
Right. I wish you had asked me what exactly I was doing at the border. Dr. Mavaza, maybe it's not for discussion tonight, but I think it will be on one of the topics there. I was actually in the process of luring and trapping someone who was involved in the gold mafia with a fake iPhone 15. That's what I was doing on that very day. And what I was doing was also relating to the elections. So I was part and parcel what was going on inside the rural areas while I was just outside the border and literally engaging and confronting someone. I know maybe you might not be aware of what this is, but this is one of the people who participated in trying to obfuscate the revelations in the documentary with an agenda to disrupt the fairness and to compromise the fairness of the elections, particularly here the disclosure of the election money, the laundered money being used to finance nefarious activities during the elections. But I guess maybe you might not be aware of what this was. But I that's the kind of stuff that I was doing. It was quite deep. That's why I couldn't be on social media and making my whereabouts and everything that I'm doing obvious. Right. Okay. So basically, this is it. Our viewers, readers, and listeners, we're going to start straight away here. The topic that we see at the top there, the very beginning one, the very first one. Which one is it, by the way? I can't see, Wilbert. Can you see?
I
I'm just
can't
trying to
see
see.
any topics. Are you displaying them on the screen?
Yes, I'm going to display them. Yes. So SADC future. So the future of SADC. Dr. Mavaza, the future of SADC, or MNANGAGWA's future in SADC. There is a video that the esteemed former ZANU-PF commissar, a very powerful man, a man who has become a game changer, or so it seems, during the election, Xavier Kasukuwere, mocked your leader, Dr. Mavaza, when he said that you people, you are now busy trying to travel to Botswana, to Gaborone, to the SADC offices. And you have suddenly had to search for the address for the SADC offices because now it has become pertinent for your survival, for the survival of the ZANU-PF regime. I'm sure you've seen this post. I'm sure you've seen the video as well. Mdaraiwe ndakakutaurira, ndakakutaurira.
Right, yeah.
Nyika ndevanhu haisi yako.
Right. Let me respond to that in a very.
I think I might have to I might join Kasukwere's party. Go ahead, sir.
Right. The first point we must understand is that Xavier Kasukwere was actually doing or playing the grapes are sour syndrome, where he realized that he could not stand in the elections because he could not qualify under the law, even though he knows very well that it was illegal for him not to qualify. It was a legality issue, not a political issue. He then tried to run around and say, no, they are afraid of me. No, we're never afraid of Kasukwere. Even anytime we can have elections with him campaigning, and he will not win anything. He cannot win unless he's within the party. Even Chamisa will never win elections until he is within ZANU-PF, because ZANU-PF has got its roots safely grounded into people. But let me tell you the future of Zimbabwe and the future of Emerson Mnangagwa in SADC. The future is not threatened by anything. What is happening? What has happened. The noise has happened. It has now died down. People might start lying or say anything. SADC does not have a power to appoint, select, or come up with a leader of any country. And SADC, always its duties is to, if it's asked, if it's invited, it does not impose itself in the country's elections. So you have realized here in England that European Union never imposed itself in elections of any member states. So for us to invite SADC, it's a prerogative of the government. It is entirely our wish.
Can we have a discussion?
Yeah, but let me answer first, Mukori.
Yeah, no, let's talk of Kasukwere and then we'll go to the next issue.
No, you asked me 3 questions. I need to answer them before I forget. Then you can respond to them. So if you can bear with me, because I know.
Go again.
I know the truth. The truth is itching on you, on you. So just hear it, scratch, and you can hear the truth. The truth is then when ZANU-PF or Zimbabwe wanted to go and to the offices of SADC in Botswana, it had nothing to do with fear or anything. They were supposed to be an extraordinary meeting. We were preparing for it, but they discovered there's no need for that meeting. Again, want to see that you should realize, and we can discuss it further, that the duty of election observers is not to review our laws. It is entirely to check whether the elections are free and fair. They are not supposed to look at our laws if our laws are free and fair. Because these laws, for you, Mkori, to understand, they are made and created and enacted in parliament, where both parties, the opposition and the ruling parties, are members. And they all debate, discuss, and vote for the laws. So those laws are the laws voted by these people of Zimbabwe through their representatives in parliament. So for SADC to try and come and say change your laws, no, that was a suggestion, but it was not a mandate, or neither was it obligatory for us to listen to what Mumba had done. And again, in short now, before Mukori responds, we want us all to understand that Mr. Neves Mumba um, is and still a supporter and an ally, a strong ally of Triple C. He was at once a fundraiser for Triple C until July. And therefore, for him to come into Zimbabwe and try to pretend to be a fair referee was laughable. And indeed, it cracked quickly, and we saw what type of a man he was. There is a story we can talk about, Simba and Mukori, where Mumba.
Mavaza, let's not have a sermon on the mount. Let's have a discussion, please.
Yes, where Mumba was the deputy president then, and his duty was to make sure that Zimbabwean government has been changed. He is an agent of regime change. All these we put together, they have no threat to us in SADC. We remain in SADC, and SADC membership is not a force, it is a choice.
Well, let's start.
Wow.
At the beginning.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Mavaza. And I will ask you a question later on, and I think my question is going to be on your claim that Mumba has been a fundraiser for Triple C, that he has been a campaigner, and I think such statements I'm going to contest because of evidence that I have from the 90s that he has actually been a ZANU-PF man. But quickly, UEBERT, let's hear you.
Well, the elections were conducted, and like you mentioned earlier on, Simba, my argument all along has been that the opposition should not take part in these elections because the process is not free, fair, and credible. I mean, you don't even have something as basic as a verified voters roll. This has been a bone of contention all along. But the opposition decided they were going to contest, and they did. And I am glad that SADC this time looked at the process and said this process is flawed and it's illegal. Some of the things that ZANU-PF people have been making a mountain out of a molehill. Things like, oh, you should not look at our laws. Even if you ignore the part of the laws of the patriotic bill and so forth, still there is enough evidence to say these elections were not free, fair, and credible because you do not have some of the basic requirements. Like I said, things like the verified voters roll. There was a lot of intimidation. People all saw that. And all the various election observers, not only SADC, the AU said the same thing. And then there's the European Union, the Commonwealth, they all say the same thing. And I'm really pleased that somebody, particularly SADC and the AU, who have been rubber stamping flawed elections in the past, this time they decided that enough is enough. And what Malaza is telling us here that Zimbabwe does not need SADC. What happened in 2008 is exactly what has happened again. In 2008, SADC and the AU said the 2008 elections were not free, fair, and credible. Mugabe ignored that, went through with the inauguration and appointing of his ministers, and Mnangagwa is doing exactly the same thing. But at the end of the day, SADC said to him, listen, we really cannot endorse these elections as free, fair, and credible. And you cannot be a legitimate government. This is exactly where we are going. This idea that somehow Zimbabwe can ignore the fact that these elections were flawed is ridiculous. It's not going to happen.
Mkori, give Jokora a chance. He wants to tell us and he wants to cry how they lost. And he's actually going to contradict what you're saying. Simba, Jokora is there. I can see him. I can see his eyes are red.
Maybe let's let Wilbert finish. Let him have his last minute, and then we can skip, please.
That one never finishes.
So in this particular case, we are being told the usual thing with ZANU-PF, that Zimbabwe does not need SADC. And SADC, Zimbabwe can exist without SADC. Mugabe wanted to make the same arrogance position. Zimbabwe is not an island. We cannot pretend that we can ignore the rest of the world. This is our own regional body. This is what makes the SADC's decision so important. The AU, the same thing. Zimbabwe could afford to ignore the European Union, the Commonwealth, when they said the 2018 elections, for instance, were not free, fair, and credible. But it cannot afford to ignore SADC and the AU. And I think now that those bodies have made their decision that the 2023 elections were not free, fair, and credible, that they are not going to recant on that. So what I can tell you now for the record is that at the end of the day, we will have another government of national unity to see what to be done beyond the present situation. The present government of ZANU-PF is illegitimate. And that is why I was saying to you, Simba, this is a historic moment in Zimbabwe's history. Because if these elections, if this next GNU was to implement the democratic reform, this could finally put Zimbabwe on a democratic footing. And we can start functioning like a healthy, functioning democracy. That is what makes me so excited about these 2023 elections. Over to you, Simba.
Thank you very much, Wilbert. Much appreciated for your rendition here. Our viewers and listeners, good evening to you. We've got a few topics tonight. We're discussing, we're looking into the news. Where are we? Where is the nation of Zimbabwe right now? And the first one that we're discussing is the future of SADC. Will MNANGAGWA survive? What will happen here? What is MNANGAGWA's future inside SADC? What is ZANU-PF's future inside the future of SADC? And another thing here, Dr. Mavaza, I am struggling right now because I don't want to have an unbalanced discussion. Are you able to ping someone from ZANU-PF, Dr. Mavaza, so that we can have a half-half? Because we don't want these opinions to be too overwhelming on you.
I don't want to promise anything. I was hoping that since you are the moderator, you could find any. But I can assure you.
Okay, I've just been texting a few people that I know, because we want to have a rich discussion. We don't want to be one-sided in our views, because I've just noticed today, all of a sudden, I'm actually shocked because Wilbert has been a bitter skeptic of the CCC. I'm sure that's why Chief sat there in his car, relaxed, because
I can assure you, Simba, that both Chief and Wilbert, their brains put together, will just be a third of mine.
No, but I think we need more ZANU-PF voices. It is important if we can get more people here so that we have a balanced half. That would really help.
I'm not a triple C voice. Like I said, that was an ill-advised thing to do for triple C. And for them to have participated was ill-advised. And now we can see the evidence of it. And I really would like to see what Chief Shoshe is going to say about that now. Whether he's now believing that the elections were free, fair, and credible, or he believes they were rigged. That's right. I'm really interested to know what he thinks now.
Okay, Chief, I hope you're ready and you're ready to give us your three minutes. Shoot. Why on earth did you participate? And why on earth are you in parliament as well? You saw the rigging. For the first time, every country of Africa supported you. They supported the people, except Cyril, the guy in Mozambique, and the one in DRC. And yet, right now, you are in parliament. Yet you are in the councils. Murguite ikogo. Shoot.
Well, Simba, let me say I am equally surprised that Wilbert is speaking the way he is speaking for the first time, in years, because I've been talking to Wilbert for over 7, 8 years now. I'm seeing him sober. I'm seeing him standing with the people of Zimbabwe. I'm seeing him saying something very sensible. So, we appreciate that. And that very reason why Triple C participated in the elections is also the very same reason why Wilbert is excited about the outcome of this election, because this election has done many things. And among them, it is to expose ZANU-PF of what they've been doing, what they did in this election, data they stole election, data they've been stealing elections, that ZANU-PF has never won any credible election ever since the formation of MDC, now Triple C. So it has now been, laid to bear. And I'm also excited that for the first time in the history of elections, in the history of SADC, SADC has also decided to stand with the people of Zimbabwe. It has decided to stand with the truth. It has decided not to side with the dictators and the other boys in the boys club. That is the leaders in Southern Africa. So from now onwards, I can tell you, and I can tell the viewers and listeners that are listening, that it is going to be exciting. Do not be misled by the bravado that ZANU-PF is showing, the bravado that Emmerson Mnangagwa is showing by having a rushed parliament, starting the parliament, swearing in members of parliament, swearing in the councillors. All that is just hogwash. It's nothing. It's just a big boy who is trying to show the world that he is still a big boy, but he's a big boy that has been reduced to a very small boy. Every time Mnangagwa sleeps, I'm telling you, he is not sleeping well. He is quacking in his sleep, because he knows that this is not going to end well. And I want to thank SADC for what they have done, for what it is doing. I want to thank President HH. I want to thank Mumba for standing for what is right. And this is the SADC that we need. And I can tell you that whatever ZANU-PF is doing right now, it's child play. Mahumbwe, it's not going to get them anyway. We have seen this movie. We know how it is going to end. It happened in 2008. Mugabe did that, and he went to an AU summit, and he was told off. He was told that this is not going to work. He also was told off by his fellow SADC leaders that this is not going to work. And he's being told the same thing. And the very Triple C that the likes of Wilbert, have been bashing about participating in these elections, are playing a critical role. President Chamisa has dispatched a team of, wise leaders, some of our top leaders, smart leaders that have been lobbying, that have been speaking and talking and negotiating with all the SADC leaders. I can tell you that they've all been spoken to. Meetings are still going on even today. There is a lot that is going on behind the scenes. And personally, I remain hopeful as I was in 2019, that President Chamisa is going to be the president of Zimbabwe after the 2023 elections. It's not over until the faith led sings. it's not over until the real candidate who won the elections in 2023 has been inaugurated. Whether it's going to be another inauguration or it's going to be a rerun of the elections, what I know is something is going to happen. And I think let me also go back to the issue that you raised, Simba. Why are you in parliament? Why are you in council? This is a war. We have won a battle. We have liberated one area, one zone of autonomy, and that is the many numbers of parliamentarians that we won. You do not surrender the area that you have conquered, the area that you have taken, simply because you say that the war is unfair or the other part is doing A, B, C, D. You take what you have what you have already gotten, because you didn't get it easy. We won these elections. We won those parliamentary seats, under very difficult conditions on a very unlevel electoral field. We struggled, we suffered, even ourselves as citizens, the citizens in the diaspora, whom I must thank so much for what they did, raising funds for our parliamentarians, for our councillors, for our president. Do you want to let down those people and say, because the election has not been free and fair, then you let go of that? And then there's also the aspect. Then, okay, no, it's not 3 minutes yet. And then there's also the aspect of the people that voted, that include myself. You vote for a member of parliament so that they go and represent you. You vote for a councillor so that they go and represent issues in your community. And then Triple C comes and says, we are boycotting parliament, we are boycotting our council. What do you say to those people that voted for you? So you can see that there is reason in the decision by Triple C, by President Chamisa, that we should secure our zones of autonomy and consolidate, while we are fighting for more, while we are fighting for the bigger one, which is the president's. And I can tell you, we are going to get it. We have not lost hope. And I want to tell Zimbabweans that they should not lose hope. Let's keep fighting. Let's sign those petitions. Let's make sure that we continue to make noise wherever we are. I know that UK is going on the 15th to submit a petition. Let's go there in our numbers. South Africa has already started. Zambia will be following through. America and Canada will be following through. Let's continue the noise. Let's not give up.
Simba, are you there?
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chief. Our viewers, witnesses, this is Chief Shoshe, a man here. I think some people are complaining. They are saying that Chief Shoshe, you are one person. Anzi, this man has been backing for years, from Changirai to China. Sorry for. I'm sure you're.
Yes. All right.
Okay. Right.
It's my turn to respond.
Sorry, I think we've got someone from ZANU-PF. Dr. Mavaza, do you recognize Nyasha Mtodi?
Nyasha Mtodi, which area are you, Nyasha, from?
I'm from Chinoi.
Oh, okay. Glad to meet you, my brother. We
Right.
So let us up there. We need them to understand what is happening back home.
Are you truly a ZANU-PF member and not a Mango one to come and do Boram Sango on ZANU on this program?
Okay, I was in the opposition in the past, but
disclose your cell number.
cell phone number.
No.
Don't worry, Mtodi. Simba, I know Mtodi. Mtodi was a member of Triple C, and he opened his eyes. He saw the light. He is now our brother. He's a comrade in the party. And yes. I trust him, because he will tell Chief Shoshe, Maiwanga, they are lost, and they lost elections. And I don't agree, Simba, with the person who said the chief was backing since Sangrai, because that's my mother. Mothers don't back, but that he was just lost, and we are hoping to get him back at the fall.
Right. Thank you very much. And you've just reminded me of a certain statement that I heard, and I think this will probably fly in your face, Chief. Andrew Taunashe on one of the videos on one of his sermons at the weekend, he announced that Mumba has been tempted by Satan. He is going to come back. I don't know if anyone saw that video.
No, I didn't. But whatever I said was right.
Right. Okay. Yes, I'm
You can
Tony.
dream on, Mavaza. Nothing
Yes,
like
sir.
that is going to happen. That man is a principled man. And he's a man of God, a true man of God. So you can dream on, but you will not get respite from Mumba or from Zambia or from SADC, you know.
Chief,
That,
I'll leave my chance to respond, Chief. Let us hear Mr. Mtodi first, then I'll come to you.
Let's hear Mr. Tony. Give us your 3 minutes. Timbons wow. Pa ground pa chinoya pa pakamira seya.
Pachinhoi pari right. Ini ndanga ndichida kungotsigira point yanga ichitaurwa naDr. Mavaza. To say vana Mumba vonana Hakainde Hichilema, they are working together with the opposition to effect the regime change. Their agenda is not good. So hatitomboteereri zvavari kutaura because iagenda yavo yokuda kueffecta regime change. There is no truth munhu zvese zvavanotaura. The election was free and fair. Our laws are good. Zvavari kutaura zvokuti our laws need to be amended. No, they just want our laws to suit their narrative, the laws to suit their agenda of regime change. That is not going to happen. Ende mukatarisa kuti vari kuspekulata kuti hanza tichada kuti kuitwe rerun fresh elections or GNU. There's nothing like that is going to happen. President Mnangagwa vakatogadzira cabinet yavo, parliament yava kutotanga basa, makanselors akatogadzirwa, mameya akaselectwa. Temu yatotanga, tatotarisa 2028 tichirinda kuvision 2030. No election in between unless kune kwaitika by election zvinoitika izvozvo. But as for general elections, takutonozvona 2028. For now, it's serious business. Cabinet yavapo, ma-MP yavapo, ma-senator, ma-councillor. No rerun, no fresh election, no GNU, no what. It's serious business. Navamunangagwa takananga kuvision 2030.
Yes. Yes, Simba. Thank you, Comrade Mtodi. I do
Yes,
agree with you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, Simba, I was shooting, so let me just...
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, because I think you were first, and then you were being you're being lambasted. So I think maybe it's your right to reply.
Thank you. Yes. Firstly, let me respond to Mr. Dzokora Seguru, Chief Sose. Chief Sose, chokutanga ndoda kuti nematambudziko ekuruza kwamakaita, tinoziva kuruza kunorwadza kana misodzi dzenyu tiri kuiona, and of course chingangokunyaradza ndechekuti you have got mukori on your side, but ndoda kuti muteerere mashoko ataurwa naComrade Mtodi ari very important. Kuti tatotanga term yedu, we are not looking back, we are not going back, we are advancing towards 2028. Takatarisa kuti implementa ma-rules edu anotisvitsa pavision 2030 ye-middle income in Zimbabwe. Saka we are now working, takutovaka nyika iri kuvakwa nevene vayo. So there is nothing like the tears being spread towards AU or towards SADC. And as we have said from the beginning, and I do agree with my brother, we all know the problem in Zambia, the opposition is now in power. And now they forget they are now in power. They think they are still opposition. And they are playing opposition politics in our country because they still believe they are in opposition. So what they think is they have to see every opposition in power. That's not how democracy works. Every country's government is selected by its own people. So Zimbabwean leaders have been selected by its own people, by Zimbabweans, by us. When I was back home, Simba, I saw people genuinely happy when they went to the rallies. I saw them genuinely happy after elections, and I saw them celebrating these elections with such joy. So it means I'm surprised, pointing out in the race where Sekuru Jokora is saying the MPs have to go and get sworn in because they've won that area, so they must maintain it. How can you say the same election, the other areas there was free and fair elections because you won, the other areas there was suppression because you lost? You know, you cannot have one mouth breathing hot and cold. In one point, I want Sekuru Jokora to learn from Mukori. Mukori anombozungaira hake, but he comes up with good points. And his good point has always been, as opposition, if you think the elections are not free and fair, why do you participate in them? So the fact that you participated, it means you endorsed the elections. You knew they were free and fair. And then when you knew that they were free and fair, you only started making noise when you realized that you are going to lose. You were talking about the strategy, which was ambiguous. So the ambiguity strategy became ambiguous and became confusion. You cannot start by saying we are having an ambiguous strategy. Come up with your strategy. It's not a private party. It's not like something which is for Mr. Chete Chete. No, it's for the whole country. So if there is a plan you have for your country, put it up there for all to see. ZANU-PF had put its constitution up for years. And we were simply asking, even today, where is your constitution? How do you want to govern a country when you can't govern yourself? Only yesterday, Mr. Mkori, we heard Welshman Nube complaining that he will try to avoid any power or any way Chamisa wants to personalize the party because it is the party for the people. There are already fissures and the problems up there when Chamisa removed the senior people of the Triple C because of his own selfish ends. And that man, if he comes into the country, into the country's state house, he will cause havoc. So we thank God because God's grace and God's will was done. I agree with Triple C when they said God is in it. Yes, God was in it, and ZANU-PF won because God was in it. And thank you very much, Triple C, for that prayer. It gave us the victory. And that's the victory I'm looking at. And thank you again, Comrade Mtodi, for saying the point. We are forward ever, backward never. And the last answer, Mr. Mkori, let me answer you. There is nothing AU or SADC will do. Mugabe was never chased away from AU. He was never told what to do by AU. AU only suggested, and Mugabe agreed to have a government of national unity because there was a problem then. But this time there's no problem. We got 52.6% and votes for the president. That means President Mnangagwa is one undisputed. And then we go back to the MPs. We have got the majority, and therefore we have won. So there is no way Triple C would turn back and say, at point A, it was fair, point B, it was not fair because they did not win. If a party believes that there is no democracy where it lost, if a party believes that there is no democracy where it lost, it simply means there is no democracy in that part. That is my submission.
Well, thank you. But while we're on that, and before we jump to the next topic, here's a big question here. Who really won the elections? Is it ZANU-PF? Mvunzo
Yes,
mkuru huyo.
Can I
Ndiani akawina my elections aya.
the answer
can I
is very
just
simple.
make a quick comment on that one, Simba?
Okay.
Yes, can you try and make it short? Can you try and make it short so that we don't stretch, please?
Yeah, okay. I think we need to make it to correct that point. And it relates to the question you're asking now, actually. That in this particular case, if SADC and the AU said this process was so flawed and illegal, it cannot produce a winner. Because the process itself, you'll say, who voted for you? We can't verify anything. There's no verified voters roll. The process itself was so flawed. Some people were frog marched to attend these rallies and then to go and vote. And then you yourself participate. where you have won, you turn around and say, no, that's okay. That should be made legal. It becomes really meaningless. That is exactly the point that SADC is making here. This process could not produce a legitimate government. And
okay, let me
suggest that it produced a legitimate opposition is ridiculous. This underlines the problem that the opposition has always had. They will participate no matter what.
Okay, let me answer.
There are some seats that are being offered by ZANU-PF to entice them to participate. And ZANU-PF, in fact, Mnangagwa was very clever in 2018. He created this extra body called Pollard with frisbees. And in this particular case, actually, that was one of the reasons why the nomination fees for the president was increased to 20,000, because he knew that otherwise, if it had not been for that limitation, I think we would have had a lot more than 23 presidential candidates whose intention would be to endorse the election and get the frisbees. So in this particular case, the opposition is really trying to dodge the question. You cannot say the process is flawed and illegal, but where we have won the seats is perfectly okay. No, you cannot do that. If the process is flawed, you judge the process and then you judge the outcome, not to start judging from the outcome. If we had won all the seats, the process is okay. No, it's not.
That's okay, Mkori.
That point should be made.
The question was directed to me. Let me answer it. Simba, the person who won the elections, the 23 August elections, was inaugurated. So you look back and see who was inaugurated. It was President Emerson Mnangagwa. So it's the guy who won the elections. So whatever you're saying here is just academic. But the reality of the matter, I want you to remember the words of Comrade Mtodi there. We are already in our second term as a new dispensation, and we have already started. We have hit the ground running. We have gained traction. We now have a cabinet, and the cabinet, they are already sworn in, and they are already working. Work is starting. So we are not stopping. This week, as you can see, Segun Chokora, I'm in New York with you. The president is going to attend the United Nations. So the one who's coming to the United Nations is the president, is the one who won the elections in 2023. So Sekuru, let's meet up in New York and we see exactly who won. I'll be showing you the guy who won the elections. He will be coming. Chamisa will be busy saying Chamisa Chete hiding somewhere, but the truth is,
But no, but let's Dr. Mavaza, let's hear. I think before we get to Chief Shoshe, let's switch to ZANU. Mutodi, who won the elections? In brief.
It's His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, President Emerson Mnangagwa.
Viva.
Right, okay. Chief Shoshe.
Well, Simba, let them get excited. I see Mavaza is getting excited that Emerson Mnangagwa is coming to the UN. And I'm also disappointed. I think I should take back my words, because UEBERT has started being UEBERT again, So I take back my praises, all the praises that I had piled on him. The fact that we are accepting, we have our members of parliament, I think I've explained that, it does not mean that we have accepted the election as free and fair. That's the reason why we have a statement that says you participate in certain events under protest. Even in athletics, there is something like that when someone has a false start, or he feels that he has been impeded, or he feels that the umpire is treating him unfairly, and they want to get him off because they say he started off faster than others. You will be allowed to run. You will protest and say, I am running, I'm participating in this event, even though I feel I'm being unfairly treated, but I'm still going to run under protest, with the hope of everything being reviewed, maybe by video evidence or any other evidence. That's exactly what we are doing, what we have always done. We have participated in these elections under protest, fully knowing that the playing field is not level, but we are CCC, we are a democratic movement. We have no other way of taking power. Don't listen to what Mabaza and other ZANU-PF will come and tell you that CCC is trying to effect regime change using this and that, war or whatever. We don't do war as CCC. We don't subscribe to violence. We only interact with violence when it has been subscribed to us by ZANU-PF. We believe in taking power using democratic means, and that's the reason why we always participate in elections, even though we know that they are not free and fair. We are participating under protest, and we tried boycotting. I've gone that through with UEBERT before. We tried boycotting after 2008, and we saw that we are dealing with a different animal that is called ZANU-PF. Havana Ganda, they will still go ahead and participate in those elections, even with one other ZANU-PF or with ZANU-PF B or with ZANU-PF C. Even now, tikati taramwa, tenge taramwira gudo munda, kuti chidya izvenyu, ZANU-PF will grab those council seats and those parliamentary seats. And the reason why, and I want to make this very clear, the reason why we remain in there and why our members of parliament were sworn in, it's not for personal aggrandizement, it's not for the councillors to get anything, it's because we respect the voters, we respect the people that casted their votes. If we say we are boycotting parliament or council, I'm telling you, in 2028, nobody is going to look at CCC. Nobody is even going to waste their time to go and vote, because they'll be saying, what's the purpose of voting? And then these people boycott the parliament and the council, who is representing our issues. Now it makes a lot of sense, because we have Councillor Makon, Mayor Makon right now, who is articulating people's issues. And in Bulawayo, we have a very tried and tested leader in Kotat, who is articulating council issues, people issues in Bulawayo. And you're going to see changes, distinct changes in both Harare and Bulawayo. And that's what the people want. And that's the reason why we are in parliament. So let's not go back there. The elections were not free and fair, and it was not okay, and it's still not okay for CCC. We are not saying if we have participated, we are not saying if our councillors have been sworn in, the elections were free and fair. They were not. And we'll continue to fight for the other part. And even if SADC says the elections have to be redone, there has to be a rerun, we'll still accept that, because we have made it clear even to SADC that we acknowledge and we are in agreement with them that the elections were a shame. Other people are even saying it was not an election. It was a haste that we saw in Zimbabwe, a shame of an election. And we'll continue to condemn that. And I can tell you, the things are going to change. There is something that is going to give. There is something that is going to happen. There is a lot that is coming. Just watch the space. Wait and see. Emmerson Mnangagwa will not be president come end of year. It's going to be a completely different.
I think Simba, we need a chance to respond to this.
Right. Maybe let him just roll down in 10 seconds, and then you can start.
That's another hour.
So in 10 seconds, Simba and Zimbabweans listening, what we saw in Zimbabwe is not an election like what Maimane said. It was complete theft, daylight theft. It was a haste, and it's going to be corrected. We are standing on very good ground right now as I'm speaking. SADC is on our side. AU is on our side. The world is on our side. the people of Zimbabwe who matter most are also on our side. And ZANU-PF should not continue testing Zimbabweans. Look at what they've done, putting a kitchen cabinet, a homemade cabinet, a family cabinet. They are testing the people of Zimbabwe. And I can tell you the people of Zimbabwe are going to respond. They are going to rise. Simbare vanhu mucharuona namavaza. Simbare vanhu ZANU-PF icharuona. It's like nothing is happening. It's like everything is.
I don't respond.
Okay, go ahead, Mavaza.
Thank you. Simba, I want Zimbabweans who are listening. Simbare vanhu takariona rakaisa vamunangagwa pachigaro. That is the point we all know. I wanted to repeat this point again before Mukori comes in. And I want us to be very clear. SADC and AU have no power to order re-elections in Zimbabwe or any member state. They can simply come and observe and give recommendations. What we are simply doing is we have accepted the recommendations and we will endeavor to change in the next elections 2028. What you should do now, Zokora, and all those people you had fooled to be on your side, you must start planning for 2028. Because 2028, ZANU-PF is going to win. Nemutsindo, zvekuti muchachema kupfura zvamuri kuita zvinezvi. Zvenyu zvokuti matombo wana tumasystem town, you are lucky. If you can see 2023, we got 6 seats in Harare from 0. Then 2028, we are going to get the whole of Harare. I am so ashamed when I hear Sekuru Anga, unfortunately, do anamai wedu but vanamai madzimai baba kusafunga kwababa kunobuda panamai. You can see the point yekuti hanzi Coltat is now running Bulawayo. These triple C mayors have run our towns into potholes. Now people want to cheer up borehole because of the triple C councillors and mayors. There is nothing to celebrate. Our towns are getting worse and worse. Now that we have got Coltat who believes that everybody is beneath him, we are going to get nothing in Bulawayo and in Harare and every town where triple C is going to be to get the mayoral seat. So with all the due respect, let us respect vana Zimbabwe. Simbare vanhu makariona rakabva kuzumba maramba pfungwe, makariona mumasvingo, makariona mama areas ese amunoziva nemarural Bulawayo kunze kwemutowns. So we are saying to you, you were lucky to get those few seats. The 2028, we are doing our work and everything is going to be free and fair. With ZANU-PF is starting now to work and to campaign. If you're very busy with AU doesn't vote. SADC doesn't vote. Don't waste your time going there. Go to Zimbabwe. Talk to Zimbabweans.
Right. Okay. So, gents, we don't have any ladies. We should have been having ladies here, really, I think, for our discussion to move. This topic here will probably continue. It will roar because people have differing views, different views. And we have on one side ZANU-PF saying they won, and then on the other end, the opposition are saying they won. And I would like to quickly go into the topic that I think fits into this, the one of the children in cabinet, the MNANGAGWA kids in cabinet. Dr. Mavaza, yesterday you left Zimbabweans on the edge of their seats because you just dropped your opinions without a challenge, a proper opposite opinion challenge. And I would like to just go back to that topic.
Yes, well, thank you so much.
Is this acceptable? Is this acceptable? I'm going to try and ask you to try and be short and sharp because I'm watching my clock here and I'm actually seeing that we are rolling out of time. So I will ask each panelist to keep your deliveries on this, keep them succinct, under 1 minute, strictly 1 minute. If you go over, I will cut you and then we'll move to the next. So we will start off with Dr. Mavaza telling us here why he believes that it is acceptable for there to be Mnangagwa children in cabinet. But just briefly before you say anything, Dr. Mavaza, here is a short commercial.
Introducing the future of pharmacy convenience. Say goodbye to long queues or sending money home to purchase medication for those in need. Say hello to hassle-free medication access. Order your essential medications online from anywhere in the world for delivery in Zimbabwe. We deliver to your door. Or you can collect. The choice is yours. Experience the convenience of online pharmacy services. Download the MedOrange app now. MedOrange, your help, your convenience. Introducing the future of pharmacy.
Here we are. Dr. Mavaza, shoot.
Thank you so much. Just in short, let me tell you that
I think, by the way, Dr. Mavaza, is it possible for you to switch? Because I think you are now totally blank. Maybe you could just briefly switch to video because people wanted to know who exactly is talking here and they can't tell.
As I have said, Simba, we are in New York at the moment, and the room
Right.
where I am, I cannot disclose it at the moment. But
Okay,
tomorrow,
thank you. Yeah.
I'll be
Okay,
my own
thank you.
room.
Okay,
So
thank you. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
In short, I'm saying here, the president has the right to choose the cabinet of his choice. If you have noticed, there is no law on how the cabinet must be selected and who must select the cabinet. It is only the president. And what he did was right. He selected. There were three issues he looked at. Is the person qualified? You tick. Is he Zimbabwean? You tick. Is he the one I want to work with? You tick. And all the people he selected, they are the people he wants to work with. It can be unfortunate or fortunate that 2 of them became, or 4 of them became his children, or 10 of them became his children. That is not the issue. He is not the first president who has appointed his relatives to high offices. Even today, as we speak in America, the President Biden has appointed his wife, his son, his daughter, his son-in-law to high offices. So did Trump. And I gave a list in my article of 22 American presidents who have appointed their sons, wives to high positions because they trust them. We had the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, has appointed his children, his wife's friends into cabinet, and their cabinet is working very well. We have got people who have appointed their relatives in cabinets in every country, like Simba, your favorite, Achilema Achiende. He appointed his friends into cabinet, his lawyer, the attorney general, and a number of people. They are all his village boys, his family members. So it is not strange what the president Mnangagwa has done. In the natural fact, he has appointed, he has been fair in appointing people from different constituencies and different provinces. So the appointment of his 2 children, whom we are sure of, into the cabinet, I want you to understand they are only deputy ministers. A deputy minister does not take over from a minister if a minister is not there. He can never be an acting minister even for 1 day. So they are just learning the skills of the trade. And any father who doesn't train his children into what he's doing is not a clever father. So I am glad about that.
Right. Okay. You went over. Sir. Right. Wubert, 1 minute, please.
Well, for the record, you always find that in countries where there are no free, fair, and credible elections, where those in positions of power and authority are not accountable to the electorate, you will find a lot of corruption, nepotism, and all these other evils. And I think that is what we are seeing here. Like I say, these 2023 elections were not free, fair, and credible. ZANU-PF rigged elections. And therefore, then once they're in power, they can do whatever they like. They're not accountable to anybody. And I am hoping that I still maintain my position that SADC is going to maintain, to stand firm on their report and say those elections were not free, fair, and credible, and they could not have produced a legitimate government. and therefore then Zimbabwe will be forced to go into another government of national unity, where we can finally have a government of national unity, and this time, hopefully, it will implement the democratic reforms to ensure that in future elections are free, fair, and credible. Over to you,
Simba,
sir.
let's move on fast.
Thank you very much. Mutoli?
Yes, I'm sure Dr. Mavaza has said it all. I just want to say those appointments, that's why they are not voted positions. It's up to the president's discretion to choose who he wants to work with. If they are qualified, then that's okay. And in this case, Honorable Jeff Chikuda Mnangagwa and Honorable Tonga Mnangagwa, they are qualified, and I don't see any problem with that. That's all I can say.
Thank you, comrade.
Thank you very much. Chief Sose?
Simba, this is craziness. You know, I can't imagine someone like Dr. Mavaza, a person who is living in the United Kingdom, where meritocracy is prioritized over everything. You see a clear case of nepotism, and you come here and defend that, and you even fail to defend that, because if he's coming here and saying that, the father should be able to train his children in our country, in our government, using a national position. You're training your children. You train your children kupraz kwenyu kushirugu. You train your children kwamne mshita zvekugobora miti mukweko. That's where you train your children. Where you're doing korokoza, that's where you go in your family business, in your own area, in your own territory, not a national territory. To take your child and you say you're going to train him in national government. Kudakwasha has no experience at all. You know, he might have a few qualifications, but there are more Zimbabweans that are qualified, better qualified than him, who could have taken that position and served the nation better and served the nation well. Why take someone who is green, someone who has no corporate experience, someone who has not whose qualifications we don't even know? So this is craziness, but to us, it's an own goal. We take it because we know that this is what is going to get the people angry. We are already angry by that, by the fact that elections were stolen, and now Zimbabweans are even being given more fuel to do what they need to do. Because I can tell you, it's not going to end the way it is. Zimbabweans are going to rise. Zimbabweans are going to do what they have to do to ensure that this doesn't continue. Because if we allow Emerson Mnangagwa to continue, I'm telling you, we're going to wake up with Tongai being one of
Yes,
Is it
but
me or what? I think I've lost you.
yeah, we've
Yeah,
lost him.
okay.
I think
I think we've
technology
totally
has
lost him.
silenced him,
Right, I think we've totally lost him there.
which is very good.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, here we are. Our viewers and listeners, these are all your views. Our very, very last topic tonight here. It relates to an incident that happened, and this happened during the elections. It's slightly different. It's not really the elections themselves, but while bearing a live connection to what was happening in the elections. But to introduce this particular development is a comment here by Jabulani Sibanda. Simba, you helped Zambians change their government, but you disappeared to save Zimbabweans, your own country, from these ZANU-PF thugs. So Simba, you betrayed your own country, your own people. Did you see this one, UEBERT?
Well,
I just saw it in the comments.
I think I totally agree with Jabulani there. Personally, I'll be honest with you. I thought Zimai was going to play a really pivotal role. But from what you were telling me, that you were out of the country, out of the UK, and were busy involved with something else, I hope Uti Jablani will take that comment as well, take it home. But I must admit, I totally agree with Jablani, because I thought that Zimai would have played a very pivotal role in keeping people up to date on what is happening, and you know, making sure that things are done properly, and all some of these vote rigging measures are exposed. Because I think that report by SADC was really a game changer. Many people were really pleasantly surprised by that report. Some people here would want to pretend that it was nothing. The truth of the matter is that was a game changer, and it will remain so. And I totally agree with Javlani that Zimai, I think, would have played an even bigger role here if he were available.
Right. I see. Thank you very much for this. Just to answer Jabulani here.
You haven't given us an opportunity to respond.
Okay. Yes, Dr. Mavaza.
Just in short, I want you to say, during the election period, you definitely abandoned the cause of justice, and
when you get criticized by ZANU-PF,
there's no amount of explanation which can avoid that. ZANU-PF is a democratic party. We do appreciate when we have got democratic tables which we would set for people to deliberate on. So during elections, you abandoned the country, you abandoned the democracy, and you abandoned the people you served for so long time.
Okay, there's an echo. There's someone who's playing a video on. Please don't play anything.
Yeah,
I think there's someone who's playing something. Right. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for this. I just want to quickly answer here. Some people have a different opinion, by the way. There are some people who met fire with fire. I mean, this wasn't Simbachi Kanza on Facebook, okay, or in a news article. They actually met Simbachi Kanza physically. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly play for 1 minute here. Now, this is a man, the man that we're about to listen to here. He participated in physically protecting the gold mafia implicated individuals, the individuals in the documentary. And he participated in obfuscating, in what we call hiding or distorting the revelations that were being used by law enforcement, both Zimbabwe and other countries' law enforcement, to investigate and prosecute the people who were implicated in the documentary, and particularly obfuscating the revelations over the funding from illicit money for the 2023 elections, so the very 23 elections. So just so that people understand there, I was actually part and parcel of exposing the money, okay, that was being used to fund more, if not all, those operations that you saw there. Here is the account of a man who had to go on camera in a television station on live to plead and to complain why I exposed him live after I traveled 6,000 miles to hunt him down and meet him face to face.
Here nor there, but are you working with those gold mafias? Are you part of them? For you to do that, and you were given a script, and all kinds of allegations were thrown at me. Quite strange, I must say.
Great. When you say quite strange, I think the Zambians would want to know, because especially on the basis of the allegations that were made. Let's also first of all talk about the timing of the intrusive interview. Zimbabwe was voting, and the journalist accuses you to be playing a part in a possible plot to rig the elections. That's quite a very serious allegation, especially on the poor day of the Zimbabweans.
I don't know how Harry Kalaba can get involved in rigging elections in Zimbabwe. I don't know how I can get involved. Me making a comment on a matter that was known by the whole world. And I made my own independent comment on that particular Al Jazeera documentary. And by the way, I was not the only one in this country who made a documentary. I mean, who made a comment on that one. I think my elder brother, Dr. Nevas Mumba, did make a comment on that documentary. And today, as you and I are speaking, he is heading the SADC group in Zimbabwe. So I don't know why. So who can rig? The one who is monitoring the elections there, or the one who has not even been there? I don't know. So I don't understand the criteria that was being used. But all I can tell you, it is just malice, cheap, and doesn't amount to nothing, really. Doesn't amount to nothing. Yes, there was that thing of saying, and the iPhone 16, that is not here nor there. But are you working with those gold mafias?
So basically, right. So here we are. Chief, were you aware of this video?
No.
So, Chief, you're not even following. You're not even following. In river ground. River ground. Ndanda kutouraiwa ndakatodzipa unodzipa twice. Eh?
I just came back from Zimbabwe, so I mean, I've been away too long. This is actually my first time to be on Zima. I mean, like,
right.
This panel for the past
I see. Month. So you're not aware of the golden iPhone 15. Right. Okay. So basically, what happened, Chief? I trapped. This is UEBERT Angel's agent during the revelations in the documentary. So I managed to trap him, having lied to him that I'm sending him a golden iPhone 15. And I spent nearly a month having conversations with him while he was giving me all his secrets. Wow. Talking over the phone. Yes. For the whole month of August, until I went on the ground. And I eventually met him in a shop in Lusaka, where I suddenly popped up. And while I was about to give him the phone, he came and hugged me. I mean, the man has seen me before, but he couldn't recognize me. He thought I'm someone who has been sent by UEBERT Angel to bring a gift, the golden iPhone 15, to thank him for what he did in helping to protect the gold mafia. And then when that happened, while we're in the shop, I was live, so I showed him my phone. He thought that the crowd on the live camera were church members of UEBERT Angels, until I introduced myself and I told him these are Zimbabweans who are actually voting. And they're voting in conditions that you and UEBERT Angel participated in creating, in disrupting the disclosures over the funding for the elections. So that is the drama that happened there. Ask if you can call any Zambian out there. I think we've got some Zambians on the. They know about the Kalaba, Harry Kalaba's iPhone 15 embarrassment. I mean, it was live. It was so embarrassing that he then sent his bodyguard and tried to strangulate me twice. So that is the kind of drama that happened there. Election violence.
Yeah, so I think
Dr. Mavaza, makanditumira fazi mimi fazi yenyu kulusaka.
On that note, we just want to say we are so sorry that they missed the throat.
Right. Gents and ladies, sorry, they're not ladies, by the way. Can we have our closing remarks, please? Shall we start with, let's start with Mutodi, and then we'll go to Wilbert, and then we'll go to Chief, and then we'll end with Dr. Mavaza. Mutodi.
Thank you so much. My advice to the opposition people is that let's all work together. Let's all push the vision of President Emerson Mnangagwa. That is the vision 2030. Through unity, we build our economy together. Zvokuramba vachiita hide and seek wakadai. That will not work. Let's support the vision of the president, Emerson Mnangagwa. Let's work together. The councillors from ZANU-PF, the councillors from opposition, councillors, MPs from ZANU-PF, MPs from opposition. Let's work together and support the vision and build our economy. That's all I can say. Thank you so much.
Next.
Yeah, my view would be, my closing remarks would be that ZANU-PF since 2008 have learned the lesson that if it wants to continue rigging the elections, it has got to get the opposition to participate and give the process some modicum of legitimacy. And the best way to do it is to make sure that the opposition wins some of the few gravy train seats. And in this particular case, ZANU-PF Mnangagwa has gone one step further, created this pollard to give free speech to those who participate in the presidential elections. I am very thrilled that this year SADC ignored that. Because in the past, SADC would say, well, if Zimbabweans want to participate and they think the process is that's what they want, who are we to interfere? But this time, SADC said, no, this process we can see is flawed. This process is illegal. And they stood up and said, no, we are not going to enforce it. And I think we need to really be smart enough to realize that the opposition, even when SADC had said that, they still did not have the decency to say, yeah, okay, we'll step back. Our friend there, Chief Soshe, was talking of, well, we continue to participate under protest. The referee has said this process is flawed. And they are the one who continue to insist that you will participate and you take up your seats in parliament and in Senate and so forth. Even after the referee has said the process is flawed. I mean, this is an individual who is determined to participate and take up their gravy train seats. And I think Zimbabweans must be smart enough. This time we have got the opportunity to have this second government of national unity. We must make sure that this time competent people are appointed who will implement the democratic reforms, so that we have free, fair, and credible elections. That is the number one priority. Zimbabwe cannot afford to miss this. And I think that point must be made and be emphasized so that everybody understands that. And we give our support to SADC.
Try to roll down, Wilbert, here.
Yeah, sorry. First of all, the report, and then to make sure that the new GNU that comes in will be able to carry out those basic functions, implement the democratic reforms. This idea of we are protecting our zones of autonomy is just a meaningless excuse by CCC to continue participating in these flawed elections. And the idea that we can have elections in 3 months or 6 months is absolutely nonsensical, because we are not going to implement reforms in 3 months or 6 months. And to keep on thinking that we can have elections, and then even if these are supervised by SADC and the AU, are we going to say 2028 we're going to call SADC?
Roll down.
No, we should correct this and get it off the ground and sort it once and once for all.
Thank you very much, Wilbert. Let us move to Chief Sos.
Yes, Simba, let me just tell Zimbabweans that don't listen to the nonsense from ZANU-PF. There's no vision to follow. There's no vision to support. The only vision that Emerson Mnangagwa has is to empower his family, enrich himself and the people around him. That's not a national vision. That's an individual vision. Emerson Mnangagwa is bankrupt of ideas. He cannot do anything for Zimbabwe. He failed dismally in the past 7 years that he was a president. He's not going to bring anything new. And I can tell you, it's suffer continue for Zimbabweans if we do not do something. It's actually going to be worse than it was in the past term. So there's nothing to support. There's nothing that we're going to do with Emmerson Mnangagwa, and that brings me to the issue raised by UEBERT. There's not going to be any GNU. We are not fighting for breadcrumbs. We are not fighting for a GNU with ZANU-PF. If there is anything, there should be a transitional authority that will oversee the issue of reforms, ensure that reforms are there. We are not going to just fight for another election, a rerun under the same circumstances, under the same unlevel electoral ground. We are not going to do that. So if there is going to be any form of a transition, it's only a transition that is there to ensure that electoral reforms are enacted. And then I know Dr. Mawaza is going to come here and tell you that AU and SADC cannot enforce anything in Zimbabwe. They can. Zimbabwe signed the free to fair elections, a platform for free and fair elections. They are a signatory to those guidelines, to those principles of elections. And they are also a signatory to a number of treaties with AU, and they are held accountable by those treaties, by those agreements that they signed. So yes, there is a lot that SADC can do. There is a lot that AU can do. They just need to use every power that they have. The fact that they've not been doing that over all these years that ZANU-PF has been stealing elections does not necessarily mean that SADC has no power over Zimbabwe. They have. But of course, the biggest power that we'll see to it that Emmerson Mnangagwa does not complete this year, we're not even talking about the term, is the people of Zimbabwe. The people of Zimbabwe are going to rise. The people of Zimbabwe are going to do everything possible to ensure that the legitimate leader, the legitimate person, the person who won the 2023 elections, Advocate Nelson Chamisa, is inaugurated. They will, and we are going to do everything within our means, democratically, of course, constitutionally, of course. But I can tell you, Emmerson Mnangagwa will not be president past December 31, 2023.
Thank you,
Wow.
Simba.
If closing marks.
In conclusion, I just want to say what Chief Sosei Zokora has been saying here is total treason, trying to urge the people of Zimbabwe to rise against a democratically elected government. It is against all the ethos of democracy to want to deny and refuse that we have lost. They must simply do as what my colleague Mtodi had said here, that let us work together to develop our country. You cannot destroy the country you want to rule. You must build it. At the moment, I can repeat my words in conclusion. AU and SADC cannot impose a president of Zimbabwe. They cannot put a puppet in our country. They cannot do that. We are members of AU and members of SADC by choice. And therefore, we cannot be bound by the laws which are meant to disrupt our sovereignty and undermine our sovereignty. That cannot be done. And again, Zimbabwe is a peaceful country. We are a friend to everybody and an enemy to none. And we do not hold any bad feelings against Zambia. We love Zambia as a country. We detest the arrogance and the treasonous sellout means being exposed and exhibited by Mr. Chamisa Mumba or Mr. Mumba C, who is Chamisa's right-hand man. And Simba, you'd asked me to give proof. Tomorrow when we discuss again, I'll bring proof to this channel that Mumba was a fundraiser for Triple C, and Mumba is a Chamisa a person who has come to make sure that his person rules Zimbabwe. But unfortunately, the spirits of Mbiane and all the heroes and the Holy Spirit, because God was in it, gave Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa a chance to finish his second term. And I can assure you, Simba, in conclusion, 31 December will come. I'll be here calling Seguru Chokora to say Emerson Mnangagwa is still the president. And we will be the president until 2028. And when we go to the other election, the election of 2028, yes, we pray that we will have another good candidate from ZANU-PF when the term ends for the president. So please, people of Zimbabwe, don't listen to Jokora. Do not take advice of the lies he's telling you here. Do not rise against your own country. That advice is treasonous, is seditious, and it is deeply depressing and knee-shaking. To say the least, it is flabbergasting and inhuman and un-Zimbabwean. Thank you.
No, Simba, this is not right. This is not right, and I feel I should be protected because what Dr. Mavaza is saying, it's a threat. I see that as a threat. There is nothing treasonous that I said, just saying, because I know this will come up elsewhere. You know, Mavaza is at work. You know, he's working right now. He's not just an ordinary commentator like us. So what his words are serious, and I will not take kindly to that. He needs to withdraw those words. You know, just telling Zimbabweans and discussing here and telling Zimbabweans that if you are not okay, if you feel that an election was stolen, you need to speak out. It's democratic. It's constitutional. There's nothing treasonous about that. We are just saying, Zimbabweans, let's speak up. Let's rise up. Let's exercise our democratic and constitutional rights. So, Dr. Mavaza, your threats against me, and even your threats against Zambia, your threats against Mumba, and even the briberies that you are trying to give to the African leaders so that you are not chased out of SADC or AU are not going to help you.
Okay, Simba, let me
I
comment.
think
Let me comment.
it looks like we're gonna have an exchange here. Are we able to save our energy, and then we can have a good opening tomorrow?
Yes, Simba, we save our energy
I'm asking
by saying what Jokora had said is treasonous. He has urged the people of Zimbabwe to rise. And it's not a threat, it's a promise that when the laws of Zimbabwe do work, so whoever tries to rise will be arrested because that is undemocratic and it's treasonous.
So you're saying it's treasonous to demonstrate? It's treasonous to speak against the government?
Also, I wanted gents, if we can please save our contributions for tomorrow, because I know you're all burning to say something. Dr. Mavaza, tomorrow.
This is what they did to Job Scala. This is what they did to Job Scala, twisting words. You know, that Job Scala said on Zim I, and now they've closed him in for all these years. It's not.
No, Job Scala.
Job Scala is very tolerate. You should not allow intimidate people like that.
We can't allow that. I want Jokora to know that Job Scala is very safe in the hands of Zimbabwean government. He is eating for free, sleeping for free,
is that? What
and free accommodation.
Just so that I correct something here. The charges on Job Scala here, they are erroneously claiming that Job Scala was on Zimai on that day. He was not, but just so that I correct you there. If you can just go back, just go and reverse. He was on that very day that they're claiming he wasn't on Zimai. Those were audios that I tweaked, but just so that you know. But lastly, just want to say, and Dr. Mavaza, tomorrow I will also bring evidence. Dr. Mavaza, you claimed that Nevas Mumba is a CCC man. He has done fundraising for CCC. And to you also, Chief Soshe, because I will also show evidence that you also are wrong by claiming that Nevas Mumba is for you. Both of you, I'm going to prove it to you that Nevas Mumba, with evidence, is actually
Nevas Mumba is for us. I never said Nevas Mumba is for us. I never said that.
Okay, Dr. Mavaza, I'm going to show you evidence that Nevas Mumba is actually working for ED. I will show you with evidence, like paper, like documents to show you that Nevers Mumba Mun when you mean Mukushek building.
Okay, Simba ndaingokumbira hangu kuti usanyebedzere kuzungaira nekuti Mumba ndiwe triple C.
Aiwa doing you. Ndakamuinvestigate Mumba anonyepedzera kudzungaira.
Let's not misrepresent facts here. He is representing SADC. He is a SADC official, and it ends there.
Remember, there's a C in SADC.
Right, folks. Let's catch up tomorrow. Let's cut so that we can save. Let's save for tomorrow. Thank you very much, gents and ladies. Here we go. We are about to shut here. And by the way, here is bits and pieces about Med Orange to those who are in the diaspora. Would like to buy medication and kutenga mushonga for kutengera hama dzenyu. Here is a short educational video. You can download the Med Orange app, and I've just noticed there Nigel, the comedian, the pastor, has been talking about this a lot, so that's why we're bringing it up. I'm sure people have seen these videos, but thank you very much, Jen. We're just going to quickly just get this informational. Don't forget to download that app. Nigel says, "Let me meet you on the other side of the app." It's on Android, and it is also on the Apple Store. It's called Med Orange, and I understand anzinzionzira iri quick yekuti munogona kutenga mishonga tengera hama dzenyu. Thank you.
Introducing the future of pharmacy convenience. Say goodbye to long queues or sending money home to purchase medication for those in need. Say hello to hassle-free medication access. Order your essential medications online from anywhere in the world for delivery in Zimbabwe. We deliver to your door. Or you can collect. The choice is yours. Experience the convenience of online pharmacy services. Download the Med Orange app now. Med Orange, your help, your convenience. Introducing the future of pharmacy convenience. Say goodbye to long queues or sending money home to purchase medication for those in need. Say hello to hassle-free medication access. Order your essential medications online from anywhere in the world for delivery in Zimbabwe. We deliver to your door. Or you can collect. The choice is yours. Experience the convenience of online pharmacy services. Download the Med Orange app now. Med Orange, your help, your convenience. Introducing the future of pharmacy convenience. Say good.
This is Zemi Media, broadcasting all around the world, on the spot, on the dot.
Felicita.